The profession system in The War Within builds on the revamp introduced in Dragonflight, but it's not exactly easy to understand with its multiple layers to crafting the best gear and consumables. So if you're having trouble understanding the WoW crafting system, then this video is for you. Hey guys, I'm Mezzy and today we'll be going over the basics. While I might add in a tip here and there to make gold with professions, this video will focus on understanding the various foundations of WoW professions in The War Within. I'll put chapter timestamps in the description in case you're looking for information on a specific subject. So, there are two types of professions in WoW, gathering and crafting. The gathering professions are herbalism, mining and skinning and provide the majority of their raw materials for crafting. The crafting professions are alchemy, blacksmithing, enchanting, engineering, inscription, jewel crafting, leatherworking and tailoring. That being said, you could say tailoring and enchanting are also pseudo-gathering professions. Enchanters do the disenchanting to create enchanting materials, and in The War Within only tailors can loot cloth off of creatures. With that out of the way, let's cover the basics of crafting materials first. Ever since Dragonflight, crafting materials have 3 quality ranks, 1, 2 and 3 star. Your skill and your crafting specialization, which we'll get into soon, will determine the quality of crafting materials you can loot. Then there's a relatively new type of item, crafting crests. Crafting crests are Blizzard's solution to keep professions relevant for the entire expansion. These are items you can make with the help of an enchanter to set the item level of a piece of gear you want to craft or have crafted by another player. You'll need to earn the crests from the appropriate level endgame content, such as Delves Raids or Mythic Plus, to craft a crafting crest. Once you have enough, you can then buy the base item you'll need for enchanters to turn into a usable crafting reagent. For endgame gear, there's a second type of item you'll need as well, sparks. Most pieces of endgame gear need 1 spark, but two-handed weapons will need 2. And just like crests, you can only earn a limited amount of sparks in a season. The exact numbers have changed in the past, but how it currently works is every week you can loot half a spark by playing endgame world content. If you didn't get it every week or leveled a new alt, there's a catch-up system as well, where there's a chance for extra fractures to drop from any endgame content until you're caught up. When you have 2 halves or fractures, you can combine them with some Valor Stones to create your spark. Now you might have noticed that an item level range is listed in the crafting crest description. That's because just like with crafting materials, crafted gear also has ranks. A total of 5 in fact. And the higher the rank, the more skill it takes to craft it. We'll go into more detail later, but in short, both the quality of the crafting materials as well as the skill of the crafter will influence the rank of the item that the crafter crafts. The max rank 5-star gear will take an investment in time from the crafter for them to be able to craft it. When investing into crafting endgame gear, you do want to make sure it has good secondary stats for your spec. Luckily, we have items for those. Scribes can make missives with inscription. These optional reagents allow you to set the specific stats you want for your item. Keep in mind that when using missives, it will add an additional 25, 15 or 5 skill required to craft the max quality gear. This is of course determined by the quality of the missive. One really cool aspect of making crafting relevant for the endgame is the possibility to craft gear with special effects. These are called embellishments. You're allowed to wear up to 2 pieces of embellished gear at a time. Some embellishments are built right into the items, for example for special crafted set items. And other embellishments are effects you can add with optional reagents that are crafted by the various crafting professions. Now, as I said before, crafting the max quality gear will for a large part depend on the skill of the crafter, but that goes beyond just maxing out to the 100 points of leveling your profession. Professions now have a long-term progression system, namely specializations. Through various means you'll be able to earn knowledge points. These are the talent points you can use to specialize in crafting specific types of items, such as specific types of gear or crafting materials. For example, to craft max item level cloth chests, you'll need to earn knowledge points and put them into the cloth chest talent nodes. You can also put points in nodes to get extra crafting stats, and you cannot reset your points. Once you've committed your points to something, it's permanent. You'll have to earn more points to specialize in other profession talent nodes. You can earn knowledge points through various sources, typically split into 2 types, one-time sources and weekly sources. The one-time sources include first craft bonuses. Whenever you craft a recipe for the first time you get a point. One-time world treasures, more typically they get added over time with major patch content. And books from reputation vendors and the Artisan's consortium vendor. The weekly sources include weekly quests, which are a crafting order quest for crafting professions and a reagent turning quest for gathering professions. Then there's also a treatise you can use on a weekly basis that scribes can craft, and there's the points from weekly treasures. Lastly, NPC work orders will provide them as a reward on a regular basis. Speaking of crafting stats, there's special crafting stats. You can get these through specializations, profession equipment, and enchants. For crafting professions we have resourcefulness, which gives you a chance to keep some of the materials when crafting items, multicraft, which gives you a chance to craft extra materials, crafting speed, which really should be self-explanatory, and ingenuity, which gives you a chance to get back a portion of concentration when you use it. I'll explain what concentration is later. But that's not all. For gathering professions we have deftness, which increases your gathering speed, finesse, which gives you a chance to find extra materials when gathering, and perception, which gives you a chance to find extra rare materials when gathering. Now, like I said, one of the ways you can get these stats is through profession equipment. Every profession can equip 2 accessories and 1 tool, and these are crafted through various professions. The accessories always have the same stats, but just more or less depending on the crafted quality of the item. The profession tool will have a random stat when crafted unless you use a missive to set the specific stats you want. Both resourcefulness and multicraft are popular choices in gold making when crafting these tools. You might notice that there's a crafting reagent required for the rare and epic quality versions of these tools, Artisan's Acuity. Acuity is earned in 2 ways. 1, with an exception here and there, whenever you earn knowledge points you earn 5 Acuity per point, and 2, NPC or patron work orders. We've covered a ton of different building blocks already, and frankly a lot is not explained very well in game. But there is one tip I want to give that is communicated in game. The WoW profession system has been designed to be really dependent on other professions as well when it comes to crafting endgame items. If there's an item required that you don't recognize from your own profession, be sure to check out the tooltip. There's a good chance that it'll tell you where it comes from. Okay, I think we've covered just about all the various elements that go into crafting high quality gear in the War Within. So, how do we craft the max quality gear? Well, when you want to have, for example, a cloth chest piece crafted at the highest item level, you'll need a crafting crest for the appropriate item level, a missive with the stats you want, a crafter that has put the effort into specializing into getting the highest possible bonus skill for crafting a cloth chest piece, a crafter that has good profession equipment for bonus skill, and quality 2 but probably quality 3 crafting materials. Keep in mind that the highest crafting crest will add a higher skill cap to the craft, requiring more skill points to max it out. Depending on the skill required to max out the recipe, you might still not have enough to reach rank 5 outright. And this is where the last piece of the puzzle we haven't talked about comes in: concentration. Concentration is a resource every crafter has on their profession. They can add their concentration when crafting an item to boost its quality to 1 higher than it would otherwise be. So if we take this rank 2 enchant for example, this enchanter is maxed out on possible enchanting specialization points for this enchant, is using rank 2 mats, and has not yet upgraded to the highest quality profession equipment. By spending 253 concentration out of the 449 this enchanter currently has available, the enchanter can craft it as a rank 3 enchant instead. If you're looking to make some extra gold using concentration every day or two, crafting max quality enchants or crafting materials is a great way to make easy gold with concentration you'd otherwise not be using. Crafters can save up to a maximum of 1000 concentration at a time, so this is a limited resource for crafters to make better items with. You get 10 concentration back per hour, so it takes quite a while for you to be able to use it again. As such, crafters will want you to pay for them to use their concentration to make the best item possible. Now, I've mentioned the term a couple of times, but I really should explain it to cover all the bases. The high-end quality gear is buying on pickup, which means crafters can't sell them on the auction house. So how do you get someone to make you the best quality cloth chest, for example? Well, you make a crafting order. Crafting orders allow you to get other crafters with professions you don't have to make you the items you want. There's 4 types of crafting orders. Public orders, which will be shown to anyone on your server with this profession. You'll need to provide all crafting materials and you'll have no guarantee on the skill of the crafter, so there's no telling which quality item will be crafted. There's personal orders, which will require you to know who will craft the item for you. This is how high-end crafting is usually done. You find someone who's invested into the skills you need and you send them the order directly. And there will probably be a tip involved for their effort into specializing as well as the concentration they have to use to get to max quality. Then there's guild orders, and they're just as the name implies. They're crafting orders that can be fulfilled only by players within your guild. And lastly, there's patron orders, or more commonly named NPC orders. These are the orders you can fulfill to get either Artisan's Acuity or knowledge points. If you're like me and no longer involved with any guild because you've become a jaded old man, then there's a good chance you don't know many people to fulfill your crafting order needs. Just know that if you level up professions on your alts, you can send personal crafting orders to your alts to fulfill all your crafting needs. It takes a lot of effort to do so every week, but you'll know what you're getting. Finally, let's talk helpful tools. The profession system has gotten very complicated and it doesn't communicate what you need or what you're missing very well. Thankfully, we have add-ons and WeakAuras to compensate for the game's shortcomings. Here's a few things I use to help me manage it all. For starters, I use the WeakAura Muse Knowledge Points tracker to keep track of which weekly and one-time knowledge point sources I've not collected yet. Next, we have the add-on Craft Sim. This is an incredibly useful add-on that has all kinds of helpful modules for things like seeing what is profitable. But the number one module for me is the Specialization Info module. This will show you per recipe which crafting talents affect your crafting skill for that recipe. The runner-up functionality is definitely the simulation mode. With this, you can figure out what the lowest quality materials you need to get to rank 5 while using concentration to get the rest of the way there. For things like profitability, CraftSim will need price information from another add-on. Either Trade Skill Master or Auctionator will work, so it's up to you to decide what you want to use if you want CraftSim to tell you what the profit margins are for your crafts. Finally, the last add-on I'd recommend getting is No Mats, No Make. This add-on will show you on the NPC work order list which reagents you'll need to provide and which rewards the work orders will give. And that's it. There's a lot to professions in this era of WoW, but it does allow for professions to stay relevant throughout the entire expansion. If you have any remaining questions, feel free to post them in the comments and I'll see if I can answer them. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe and share it with others. I would very much appreciate it as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. You can also follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at twitter.com/bbmezzy and twitch.tv/bbmezzy. For now, I'm Mezzy and I'll see you again next time.